Thanks, Steph. No, seriously, that was really good. And you touched on so many key aspects that I think not just you and I, like I had some of the exact hesitations that you did. Like in terms of, so obviously we have them, but if we're having them, like other people clearly have them too. So I'm going to kind of caveat off of what you were just talking about, being a competitor and loving the gym. So for me personally, I have not competed yet, but I am an aspiring competitor. Now, my fitness journey has been up and down and up and down the past, oh God, since I started when in 2009 was honestly when I really started my fitness journey. But through all of it, I grew to develop a love for the gym. Now, when I started my fitness journey, I'll be totally 100% honest. I didn't even know about coaching when I started my fitness journey. But the first program that I ever did, like this got me into fitness right off the gate, was Insanity with Shaun T. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever done Insanity, but it is an amazing, amazing. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either. I think it's still recording.
Okay, good.
Let me see.
It says recording on my end.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened there, but hopefully everybody can still see and hear us. But anyway, what I was saying is when I started my fitness journey back in 2009, I started with Insanity, and I had no clue what coaching was back then. I just knew that I saw all these awesome commercials on TV, and not even kidding you, I watched infomercials at random times at like 1:30 in the morning when Shaun T would be on there doing all this stuff, and I'm like, man, these people have such amazing results. Like, and at the time, I was definitely very self-conscious. I did not feel as though I was athletic. Although back in 2009, I was at the Naval Academy back then. I was still I was required to do a lot of fitness activities, and I was required to be physically fit and meet a standard. But back then, I wouldn't consider myself healthy. I felt as though I was very, I wouldn't call myself unhealthy, but I wasn't athletic. I wasn't in shape. And I really didn't understand the concept of what it meant to be someone who is an avid health and fitness lover. Well, like I said, I started out back then with Insanity. Over time, as I continued to do Insanity and progress, and I did it when I was deployed with my Marines, and we all kind of got this little community going together and doing it together, I saw so much change in my body that I never thought was even possible. So I started one round back in 2009, saw amazing change. I started another round of Insanity when I was deployed in 2012, 2013, both years. And it's something that, from someone who has never been in a gym or someone who was a cardio junkie like myself, that's what I always used to be. I would go to the gym and I would do the elliptical, or I would go to the gym and I would run on the treadmill because that's all I knew. I didn't know how to lift weights. I never understood how to even properly do a barbell curl. Like, I'm sure I could do it, but I'd probably be screwed up because I had no idea. So Insanity was my first introduction to that. But over time, as I started to develop and I started to really understand the concept of what it meant to be healthy and to feel healthy and to feel fit, that is when I progressed into gym life. And gym life is what I grew to love. And to this day, I love going to the gym. There is not a day in my life where I lied. There are some days where I don't feel like it, but there's not every single day. Every morning, I love waking up and going to the gym. Like, that's just me. That's part of my routine. That's who I've become. And that is I have so much passion for that. So one of my hesitations when I first started was, okay, well, I get it. I've done health, Beachbody programs from home in the past. I've done them when I was deployed. I get that. But I've grown and I've developed such a love for the gym. How do I correlate those two? I was so confused on how to really, my hesitation was I just didn't know how you could even make it work. Well, as Stephanie said, as you progress and as you start out in this business, like, you can find a way to make it work. Like, if you really want to be successful in this business, you will find a way to say, okay, even though I love going to the gym, I can still come home and do a 10-minute yoga video, or I can do a 30-minute yoga video, or I can even do a Tony Horton 10-minute trainer today just to show people, like, hey, this is what's possible. This is what you can do if you don't like going to the gym, if you don't have, gym equipment at your house, or if you don't have the means to access a gym. Like, there's so many different ways that we can help people, whether we realize it or not. Now, when I started coaching, I started out doing Hammer and Chisel. Hammer and Chisel is a weightlifting program. I loved weights, so that's why I chose that program to start out with. Me, I didn't have all the equipment I needed at home. I could make it work. However, I loved going to the gym. So what did I do? I took my iPad and I went to the gym. I hooked up to Wi-Fi. I made this little bench with those little plastic benches and the little stackable things. I got some hand weights and I did my thing. Like, I set everything up in a side room and I made it happen. So I did it in the side rooms. Some days I went out on the actual gym floor and did my workout there too. So there's so many different ways that you can make it work. You just have to be creative with it. And you have to really think about the fact that not everybody is like us and not everybody enjoys the gym. And some people have to start somewhere in order to develop that love for the gym, just like I did. I started with Insanity, and over time I grew to love and, have such a passion for going to the gym. So that is one of the hesitations that I had. Kind of going into that, the second thing is my overall experience and credentials. Now, when I started coaching, at the time, I had previously started my personal trainer certification. I had started my nutrition certification, and I had also started my exercise therapy certification. Why did I do this? I was doing this because I had a passion for it. I loved helping people. I loved fitness. I loved nutrition, health, all this stuff. But I thought, when I was still in the Marine Corps, getting ready to transition out, I thought, hey, I have such a passion for health and fitness. Why not try for my certifications? Well, what happened is I got super involved at work. When I was still in the Marine Corps, I was super busy working midnight shifts, doing all these crazy things. I was also working on my master's. So all this stuff kind of got put on the back burner. Well, when it got time for me to get out of the Marine Corps, and this was actually just last year, January of 2016 is when I got out, I decided to, kind of jump in and make that plunge into coaching. But one of my hesitations was, well, I'm not even done with my fitness certs. Like, how are people going to even look at me as a specialist? Or how are people going to even look at me and want to come to me for help? Because they don't even see me posting on social media. Like, people, all they see is, that's Christina. She's a Marine. She went to the Naval Academy. Like, okay, she's in the military. Sure, she does fitness, but how can she help me? Like, I don't relate to her. She's in the military. I'm not. So these were things going through my mind. I'm like, how are people going to believe me or trust me or, feel like they can put their wholehearted trust into me giving them advice or me saying, hey, this is what I recommend for you? Well, what I came to find out, and what you'll find out as you start coaching, is people I don't want to say they don't care if you don't know everything, but people understand that you don't know everything. Like, in Beachbody, we don't need the credentials. We don't need all the expertise and all that stuff because it's already there for us. Beachbody provides us with nutrition programs that have been created by professionals who do this stuff every single day. They create the workout programs like Tony Horton creates them, Shaun T creates them, like all these fitness professionals are the ones who are creating this stuff. And we are just the facilitators. We are the ones who are there saying, okay, I know what this program has to offer. I know what this one and this one has to offer. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Let's get you set up with one of these programs that's going to work best for you and your goals right now. So by doing that and being able to provide that guidance and that assistance in that form, and being able to say, okay, I see your goals. I see what you're trying to accomplish. Here's how I can help you. And by going along and helping them on their fitness journey and being that motivator and that supporter and being that person that they can trust because they come to you and they know that you care about them. That is what this is all about. We don't need the credentials. Did I get mine eventually? Yes, I did. But I got that for my own personal benefit because I love it. I got that because it's something that I've always wanted to do. Well, for the past couple of years, it's something that I had a goal of accomplishing. So that's why I did that. But it's not something that you need to do. If you are a personal trainer, by all means, personal train. Like, I'm a personal trainer too. But do I go train at the gym and personally train people right at the gym? I don't. Could I? Yes. However, I love working from home. I love scheduling my own hours. I love being in charge of my own business and doing everything that I want to do every single day. And that is why I decided to stick to coaching 100% because I'm able to help people this way. And if someone comes to me and says, hey, I'm looking for a lifting program, I can say, all right, well, we've got, this program, we've got X, Y, and Z that I can help you out with. And just because I have my personal trainer credentials doesn't mean that I need to, to go to a gym to help you, from behind my computer screen. That makes sense. So that was one of the second hesitations. Now the third, fourth, and fifth hesitations are kind of very similar because one of them is I don't want to share on Facebook. The second is I hate social media. And the third is, honestly, I'm kind of shy when it comes to posting on social media. And some people may look at me as an introvert on social media. Why? Because I don't post. Well, let me tell you a little bit about where I kind of started with all that. So growing up, when Facebook came out, I was kind of a here and there random poster. Like I'd post statuses like, Christina is feeling tired. Christina is not wanting to go to school today. Like whatever. But as time went on, like you understand the evolution of Facebook and all that stuff. Well, when I got in the Marine Corps and even when I was at the academy at some points in time, we were always told operational security, which if you're not familiar with that, basically we don't want people knowing what we're doing because it's the military and you just don't want people knowing what you're doing. So in my last job, I was working at a very high level security type environment where I couldn't even have my phone on me at all during the day. So for me, I really had to figure out, okay, do I even really want to post on social media? No. Why? Because, well, I don't want people to know what I'm doing for one, and two, my work says I can't. So that was something that I got so used to for so long. I never posted on social media, maybe a random picture here and there of a vacation or something like that. But posting was something that I wasn't comfortable with it. And when I started coaching, that was, honest to God, one of the biggest hesitations I had because I went from someone who for 5+ years wasn't really posting anything on social media except for the occasional thing here and there to someone who is supposed to be posting 2 or 3 times a day. Now, when I first started, I'm like, okay, no. For one, nobody cares. 2, nobody wants to see what I'm doing. Like, why would anybody care about what I'm doing? And 3, I haven't posted in years, so people probably forgot that I even exist on here. So, like, who's even going to look at my stuff anyway? How am I even going to inspire anybody? Because that's what coaching is supposed to be doing. Well, I'll tell you, those were all the hesitations I had. But I will tell you, going from there to now, you'd be surprised at how your outlook changes. And it changes because you see the impact that you can have on so many people. The most amazing feeling is when you make a random post and it's just talking about you and how you're feeling and your transformation and where you started to where you've been. It's such an amazing feeling having somebody comment or somebody reach out to you and saying, wow, I cannot, like your post that you just made, I relate to that so much. Like, thank you so much for posting that. You have no idea how much you just inspired me. Like, that right there in itself is something that I never would have imagined someone would even say to me, but I've received comments like that before. And it just goes to show you that even though people may not like your post or even though you may not think anybody's watching, people are watching your journey and people are looking up to you. The more consistent you are throughout this journey and the more you just realize, you know what? I'm doing what I love because this is my passion and this is what I love doing. People can think what they want. People have this stigma about Beachbody coaches and people say, oh, they're this, they're that, they're just about sales, like stop posting on my timeline, whatever. No, that's not what this is. People can think whatever they want, but as long as we're showing them the real us and who we are and how we know that we can help other people transform their lives too, that is how you will make a difference. And that is how you will really pay it forward and help people. And I'm not saying everything we do happens through posting. It's not about that, but posting is a huge part of what we do as coaches. So like I said, that was my hesitation. But once I started to realize that the more I posted and the more positive feedback I got and the more people started relating to me as a person, the more I just said, screw it. people can think negative thoughts if they want to, but I don't care because I love what I do and that's all that matters. I'm working from home. I have this freedom. I can do whatever the heck I want to do every single day, make my own schedule, create my own business, work with amazing people like Stephanie. Like, this is the most amazing thing that I have ever done. And posting on social media was a hesitation, but I'll tell you what, it's one of those things that you just kind of, as you do it, you get used to it and you get more comfortable with posting more and more and sharing, because you know that the more you share, the more you're going to help and the more you're going to inspire. So with that, I think I have like 2 more really quick ones, but I think, you know, the second part, or actually, no, this is number 4. I don't even know what number I'm on, but either way, the whole part of being, you know, inspired. I never thought of myself as being an inspirational person, maybe in the aspect of, you know, being in the military. I'm sure I may have inspired people in that sense, but I never really thought of people like looking up to me in the fitness aspect, because I don't have a huge transformation. I pretty much I've gained a lot of muscle throughout this past year, but since I started coaching, I don't have this huge transformation journey. Like, you see some coaches who have lost 50 plus pounds and you're like, oh my gosh, like, of course people would want to work with her or him because they've lost a ton of weight and they have all this amazing progress. Well, me, I don't necessarily have that, but what I do have is compassion. I have just a legitimate care and concern for people. And I have the willingness to help people and share. And like I said, that just by doing those things, that is what draws people to us. And that is what allows them to connect with us on a level that they feel truly inspired by us. So the last thing, and Steph talked about this a little bit too, is before I started, I was like, Beachbody, I know I've done their programs before. I know I love, you know, everything that they stand for, but I feel like this is a pyramid scheme. Like, I know people have said like that stuff before, and I knew what a pyramid scheme was, but to me, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take what I've heard and run with it. I'm going to look into this myself. I'm going to look and see if this is all about sales, like some people think it is, and I'm going to look to see how this whole organization works. Well, in a nutshell, it's not a pyramid scheme. There's so many different reasons why I could tell you why it's not, but we are all here working together as a team. And the people above me, I can surpass them at any time. In a pyramid scheme, that can't happen. People above me don't get paid for what I do. Okay, so that, just in a little tiny nutshell, that is, Beachbody is not a pyramid scheme. And I just wanted to make sure that I let you guys know that, because that is something that I was so skeptical on at first. And the whole sales thing, I was like, no, I don't want to be a salesperson. Like, that's not me. I'm not transitioning out of the Marine Corps as a communications officer to be a salesperson. Like, that was my huge hesitation. And over time, I realized, like, okay, this isn't sales. Like, this is legitimate helping people and sharing our journey and being there for people when they need us most. So with that, I think that's everything. I think we've got everything covered. At least I hope so.
Yeah, I think so.
If you guys have any questions at all, or if you have more hesitations that we may not have talked about, comment below, like, let us know, ask us, you know, through Messenger, whatever it is, let us know what your hesitations are, because we want to be there to help you guys come up with, you know, I don't want to necessarily say a solution, but just come up with the best way for you to realize that maybe that hesitation is something that is just an assumption, or it's something that you may just have, you know, sitting in the back of your mind because of limiting beliefs or whatever it may be. So if there are some things that you're unsure about or that you're hesitant about, please reach out to us, because that is what we're here for. We're here to answer and help in any way that we can. So
Yeah, great job. Yes, I loved everything that you said and could totally relate to it all. And sorry, guys, my husband got home and we are having some stuff done because there is a leak. So we have people walking in. So that's why I had to scurry out of my office and into the bedroom. And now I'm working from my bed. But that's just another example of how awesome it is to coach, because you can literally work from anywhere at any time.
Truth. I worked from a blow-up air mattress for 5 months. So there you go. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. We will be sharing more content with you as the day goes on. So until next time, we will see you guys later.
Thank you, guys. Bye.